What do you mean he's not real?
Exactly what I just said.
Then who brings the baskets full of candy?
See?
All right.
Yeah, so my thing with BLM is the way it started when I first heard about it is that when you accidentally kill a black person, don't make like it's nothing because Black Lives Matter. Because when you accidentally kill a white person, shit happens to you. That's what
I think it's what you're trying to get at is it's the response that people want.
Yeah, like let there be accountability. Everyone understands mistakes happen. Not to say that it's okay that mistakes happen, but lose your job. Be on leave, take the life seriously. Don't make like it's not a life. Then what happens is people in response to they say, what do you mean Black Lives Matter? Yes, Black Lives Matter. White Lives Matter. Indian Lives Matter. All lives matter. Now, Black Lives Matter people now have to argue against something that they weren't saying. Now Black Lives Matter has become...
Now we must argue...
Now we must argue that we're not racist. Now we must argue we don't hate white people. Now we must argue that. Now it's a futile argument between that and what you were actually trying to say.
Man in
and
America,
then you lose the sight of what Black Lives Matter is. Now we're arguing. Now it's a black-white thing, which it wasn't. It was a black equality thing. And then what happens is Black Lives Matter becomes whatever now. Yeah. Whatever. We can loot shops in the name of injustice. We can do this. They look like a terrorist organization now. Sorry to use Trump's words, but that's what it's become because they lost sight of what they were fighting for. But that is also the right's fault for making it a thing that it wasn't.
Yeah, so in the context of my story, when that lady brought that up and said, so you believe in Black Lives Matter, right? So then...
Which lady was that? Remind me.
In the crowd when I did that joke.
Oh.
At the end of that
joke.
Is
this recent?
No, this is 2 years ago. 2-3 years when farm murders started, gaining traction, people started talking about it.
Then she asked you,
she asked, if I believe that Black Lives Matter, why is it that in South Africa, if a white farmer is murdered, their life doesn't matter? So in that moment,
I see the parallels.
I can see the parallels, but in that moment I felt bad. But later when I thought about it, I said, look, white people still get the justice for these farm murders. It's not as though the South African government or the law is saying,
it's hiding the murderers.
It's okay. Nobody is saying it's okay.
They're getting sentenced when they get caught.
Yeah, when people get caught, that there's action that is being taken. But in the context of what she was saying, I felt bad because I could almost understand that she goes, see, I support when a black person gets murdered somewhere else in the world because it's unfair that just based on the color of their skin, they are marginalized by the police, they're brutalized, and then nothing ever happens. So in South Africa, I feel that a lot of white farmers had been murdered and then, they don't. And in fact, even in that crowd, the lady that spoke up was not the lady that had a victim in her family. There was another guy who was sitting at a table who had a victim in the family.
Yeah.
And so after the show, I went and I said, look, let me actually go and engage with this person. Let me not be somebody's, because we had an exchange and I told her basically, shut up. I have a mic. I have the authority to talk. You don't.
Authority.
So at the end of the show, I said, look, let me go and speak to her. Let me go and find out. That was some hippie, middle-aged white woman. And whilst I was having this conversation, and it was a civil discourse that we were having, this guy comes in, Afrikaans guy. You could smell the rum and coke on his breath.
Hectic.
And then he says, do you know that some uncle of his was murdered on a farm? And I said, cool. I work in a government hospital. Can I tell you how many black people get murdered every day that you will never know? You'll never know their stories. Yeah. I told him stories, horror stories. Because he came on to me and he said he got murdered. They came into the house. I said, cool. Let me tell you something. He had a property, had a piece of land, and he had an income. There are people that get murdered every day with nothing. Literally, a child walking to the shop,
government has to
getting
bury you.
shot, and there's no
We don't hear
justice for
about
them. And do you care about that person? Yes, I do. So I said, so what are you doing to highlight their stories?
Well,
And then that's when he could understand. So I said, until the white Afrikaans community also accepts that they are trying to highlight their issue as the only issue in South Africa, and they're not cognizant of what's going on outside of their
they want
problem.
VIP treatment.
Yeah. So I said, look, I understand that you're hurt, but we're all hurt. The whole country is hurt. And unfortunately, your forefathers benefited off an apartheid system. Whether you
and no one is
whether-
saying we're killing you because you benefit from apartheid.
but you guys did, and now you want us to continue that historical privilege.
They call
for
it
your
white
issue.
white arrogance. That's the name for it. White
Of course.
arrogance. Now, do you know what other phrase? I was speaking to someone about that. What Black Lives Matter had become, why the phrase became so polarizing when it was never intended to be like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what other phrase was also mischaracterized and made into a racial thing?
What?
Make America Great Again.
MAGA.
That was his campaign slogan.
Yeah.
Remember his campaign? It was his campaign slogan. And I believe, benefit of the doubt, that this homie's intention behind Make America Great Again was to bring jobs back to America. To bring back jobs to where it's like the middle America and Michigan and all those places, to bring back jobs and bring the economy back up. And that, what I believe, was the motivation behind the phrase Make America Great Again.
Yeah.
Then the left or Black America says, well, actually it's the left. And the left says, when was America ever great for us? Ne?
Yeah.
Now, you have to now argue, I don't know what the word is. I'm looking for the word, or what this thing is when you can decide what the opposite of someone's thing is. So the word good has... Wait. The word good has... No, man. There's a word that has two opposites, and those opposites are different words. It's like good and bad and good and evil, or whatever the case might be. But someone can just choose what, the semantics of your phrase. So if I say, make America great again, on face value, there's nothing racial about that phrase.
Of course.
There's nothing racist about the
Yeah.
phrase. Then if I say, when was America ever great for us? Now you need to now argue. Now because you didn't even expect that argument. Now because I can't respond to you nicely on when was America great? That's homie wants to create jobs for everybody. I'm not defending Trump, guys, please. I'm just talking about how a phrase can become something that was never intended to be.
Yeah, but
Now he has to always
you
defend
see-
himself no, I'm not racist. No, I'm not racist.
Look, in the case of Trump now, and Biden has won.
Biden has won.
Biden has won. It's official.
People are more happy for Kamala Harris than they are for Biden.
I'm not. I'm not happy.
Did you vote?
I chose not to vote. For
Have
a lot
you
of
ever
reasons.
voted there?
For a lot of reasons.
Have you ever voted?
No. I've never voted in the American election. I do hold a passport. I can't legally. I could vote. But that would have probably pushed the elections even longer with all these international mail-in ballots. I'd have to go to the US embassy. It was too much of a long process. I'd have to register. I have to go to the US embassy. Then they have a whole check there. It's too long. Honestly, it's too long.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's really not worth my time. And I just... Honestly, to be honest, I was just too lazy to vote. I'm not gonna pretend my vote matters. And the thing is, in America, I was watching a documentary about the history of the American elections, how people have fought for it, and whatever. And obviously, it's a similar history here in our country.
Yeah.
But I'm my forefathers never fought in America. Nobody suffered.
You were born there by luck.
I was born there by luck. My father was studying there. I managed to, be born in the country. So, for me, it's not really like it's not. I don't hold any like deep sentimental value to voting there. I think, maybe it would have helped.
Yeah,
Maybe
do.
I don't know. I probably would have decided on who to vote for as I entered the booth. But I just
You
I
can
hate
get-
the idea of American elections. I hate it.
You could get cancelled. Here's my issue with the whole thing. And it always sounds like I'm defending Trump, but people choose not to get what a person is saying.
Yeah.
You see, even you saying, I'll decide who I vote for when I get there. That is grounds to be cancelled. How can you even consider?
Yeah.
Why is it not as clear cut for you? And like the thing is, look how hard the media has had to work for Trump to lose this election. Since he was elected, they've been gunning for him to lose this election, and even unfairly representing him. And like,
I think there's times where he's unfairly represented,
And
but I
there's
think
times
that
when
there's
he's-
times where he said what he said. It's like there's the media can spin
Definitely, that
they
man
can spin
talks
a story-
nonsense.
They can spin a story a million times, but words are words. There are tweets. There's evidence of what he said. There's video clip footage, and maybe you can
Definitely.
take it out of context.
No,
you can take
definitely.
it saying-
I'm not saying this man is good. That man talks a lot of shit, and it's not. It's
But
funny that he
I
became
think that-
president in the first place.
I think that what people aren't voting for the opposite side because they necessarily think that this person is going to change America, make America great again, make America better. I think they literally voted for him because they felt that perhaps maybe morally, there would have been a better president. I don't know whether that's true or not.
People
I
weren't gonna
can't-
like Hillary Clinton
but-
did not have a good reputation.
No, she didn't have a good reputation. She was not a good candidate to go up against somebody like Trump. Somebody like Trump has this persona which made people. He gave the disenfranchised people in America.
Yeah, he spoke freely. He spoke. He wasn't
He
politically
said, "This
correct.
is how I see the world. I see the world in one way. You can tell me. You can either agree or disagree with me." And for the majority of people who feel like, the media and the world is so politically correct, there's one man who's willing to say what he feels and speak his mind freely. He
And
empowers
it's done.
us to.
Like, we are done with the way government does business. Like, I have a inkling of an idea of how like it used to work, like for a state-owned company or work for government.
Yeah.
Like, should run slow. Shit runs slow, and like once you're in that system, you become as slow.
Yeah.
Like that red tape, you already factored that red tape into it. Some stuff you even like, nah, that's gonna take too long. I'm not even gonna bother do that thing.
Yeah.
And fuck, who I disappoint. I've tried this thing 6 times and it doesn't go through.
Yeah.
Then like usually what happens when someone who comes in from a private company, a lot of people don't last 2 months. Because in a private company, you can just do what you want. You can, when you need to spend money, you spend money.
Yeah.
You don't need 60 sign-offs from 60 different people, and there's to go here, and you have to send it here, and there's to come back. Then like, oh, there's a spelling mistake. This person doesn't like a spelling mistake. Now someone like Trump comes in, and I think this was why people voted for him, despite the nonsense that he says here and there, and the offensive stuff that he says. Because you and I both understand, like, but I like, offense is like it's nothing, man. Be offended all you want.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people say.
So here's my thing, right?
Then this man comes in and speeds up stuff that were taking 20 years, and he got some stuff done in 2 years. Stuff that would normally take 20 years, like building a bridge or whatever.
So I'll give you my example, right? So if you see somebody posting a picture online of them giving food to a homeless person,
Yeah.
you get two main thoughts, the two main groups of thought. One group of thought will say, you're showing off about giving this person.
Yeah.
You're morally corrupt. What
Yeah.
you are doing is you're trying to show off how good you are as a person.
Yeah.
Whereas you get the other person, and that same person would rather not give at all to anyone and not do anything, but maintain that they're morally upstanding. And that, I feel, is a very similar idea with Trump. He may say a whole lot of outlandish shit, and he may abuse his power. He might morally not be upstanding, but if his policies work, Some
Yeah.
people feel like, I don't care what he says. He can say whatever he wants.
Yeah,
but
but
if
the
he
policies
gets the
work.
job
Yeah.
done, who cares?
And some
Right?
people, some stuff he didn't get right, but like there's stuff that he did, and like you could call him an achievement for whoever.
Yeah.
Then it's like, I don't like him, so whatever he does good, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I'll rather be like whispered sweet nothings into my ear and let shit go downhill.
Yeah.
People are offended at him saying to black people, why do you have to lose? You'll have been voting for the Democratic Party for years and years and years and years. Your life hasn't gotten better. It won't hurt you to vote different for a change. And it's like, that seems disrespectful, that seems rude. But it
What?
makes complete sense. Like this man, like here's what the media done. And guys, Trump is not perfect. I'm not defending Trump. I'm not saying
But before you go on, let me ask you this: if the Democratic Alliance had to come out and say, you blacks, you guys have been, for the last 20, 25 years, you guys have been voting for the ANC. It wouldn't hurt you to try voting someone
that's
else.
exactly what they say. They say that.
No,
You know-
but they don't say it in those exact words.
My man.
They may suggest it.
In those exact words.
Find me any one of them.
My man, you don't remember when was the last 2019, 2015,
They don't say you blacks. They might say South
2000 and-
Africans.
2009, 2014. They had billboards that said "Stop Zuma," with Zuma's face. My man,
But
they
you're
have
not.
said.
My point
I'll
is.
go look for. I'll have to go and look. They
For the exact-
literally say, no.
So Trump-
And I'm
Trump
not
is
offended
saying,
that they say that.
I'm speaking to you black voters. You black voters have been voting for the wrong party. You've been voting for one party for a very long
And
time.
your life
and
hasn't
nothing.
improved.
So now come and change. So, but do you get like how in South Africa that would also be taken as you guys are racist?
My
You
man,
guys are just racist.
Come and tell you what's racist about the DA. Not that phrase.
No. But
Let me talk,
I'm
let me
just
talk.
saying phrase that specific. I'm saying that phrase. You would construe that regardless of what the DA does.
No,
or
don't tell me
whatever.
what I would do because I'm telling you I wouldn't.
Okay.
The DA says that. The ANC is corrupt. Vote for us because they've done nothing for you for the past 24. How many years now?
okay.
26, 27 years. Vote for us because the ANC is corrupt. They've disappointed black people and they've made things worse than what it is in apartheid. They say those things.
Okay.
Now, what DA doesn't understand, ne? DA doesn't understand that the reason why we're not going to vote for them, because in the policies that they propose is literally anti-black.
Yeah.
There was a time when I was a kid, like I think probably 2011, 2012, where I would be like, yeah, ANC is messing up, I should vote DA. Then after a while you realize, no man, these guys, look now the stuff that they've decided now in their Congress or in their caucus, not caucus,
Yeah.
in their Congress or whatever you
Yeah.
call it, in their government, in their party. They've decided they no longer gonna look at race at all. And that's what they want to push forward in South Africa. So even in their party, you will never ever be considered over someone else because of race, or like race is completely out of it.
Yeah.
So
okay.
like any tinge of like BE or what the good intention of what BE was supposed to do is out. And they literally saying that we're gonna treat you who grew up in a village and you who grew up in Sandton the same. The same. And black people do not want that policies. People of color do not want those kind of policies. So yes, you can try and make us vote for you, but like, homie, we don't like your policies. Your policies are, let's say you get your stuff right, it will not benefit us. That's the flop.
So
ANC
well, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the exact same thing. Yeah, just close there. It's still recording.
Yeah.
So what the DA is saying, and their policies are anti-BEE, anti-socialism.
Yeah.
Let's move
We
towards
don't
more
think that will work for
capitalist.
us.
It won't work for us. Cut to Trump. Trump has the exact same mentality. He's a capitalist. He's not a socialist. He's not let's try and give welfare to the people. That's a Democrat idea.
Okay, yes.
So that's why I'm saying to you, what's the difference? What's the difference between when Trump says it and when the DA says it? There's nothing. On top of the fact that you can go look at the DA's policies and their manifesto, and the things they say and do and what policies they will represent. Like they are anti-BE, they are anti-black even. If you look at who they put forward, if they put forward somebody that's black or that's saying too much and pro-black things, they want to cut
And
them out.
they catered
And
for
in the same way,
and to
the
white majority capital.
Exactly. Now, if you look in America, Trump has that similar mentality. He'll talk about,
I hear what you're saying, but I'll tell you where
hey,
your
the
mistake
Mexicans
is.
are coming to steal your jobs. The Muslims are here to bomb us and kill us. So we need to build a wall and we need to kick the Muslims out, keep
Okay.
them out. So that's what I'm saying. I'm drawing an exact parallel.
Draw your parallel, then I'm gonna show you where the inconsistencies
Sure,
are.
go. Tell me where the inconsistency is.
So Donald Trump, we all know, like the first controversial thing that he said when he was running was,
Yeah.
they rapists, they animals, they
Yes,
send us
yes,
the worst
yes.
people. This man was not saying Mexicans are rapists and murderers. He was saying a lot of people that come over, like undocumented people, is dangerous because some of them are rapists and murderers.
Okay, no,
and when
he
there's
didn't say
someone you can
some,
find,
but yeah, you paraphrasing.
those
but
things
yeah.
are, I'm paraphrasing, but those things are also put out of context. Those clips are played in such a way to push like a racist agenda, to push that this man is racist, he doesn't care about us.
But he does say
then
Mexicans.
Yes,
If he said
undocumented.
blacks, if he said blacks, if let's say you took Trump
But he
out,
was talking about
take him out of America, put him
he's-
in our context,
Bro,
and he
don't-
said Zimbabweans. These Zimbabweans, they
You
come
don't
over
have to. You don't have to make analogies for me to understand. I understand. I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to change your mind. I get your position.
Yeah.
This man is talking about the dangers of undocumented foreigners. Like us here. Now you want to draw parallel. Let's draw parallel. The most recent incident of xenophobia, it turned out it wasn't actually xenophobic attacks. What had happened was, and we all know, and it's a stereotype for a reason, that Hillbrow is a shit show. There's
it's a
drug
shit show.
lords and drug dealers, and a lot of them
Yeah.
are foreign nationals.
Yes.
And
I agree, 100%.
now, because of the fear of being accused of being xenophobic, a South African can never say, guys, it's a bit of an issue, those undocumented people there. They're selling drugs, they're running empires there, and those drugs are affecting South Africa in a very bad way. Now I'm xenophobic now for mentioning that thing. Then, what had happened was, someone was being sold drugs, or some drug dealers had fought and killed a taxi driver. And then taxi drivers, the Zulu people that they are, and those are the people that were the center of the last xenophobic attacks, they were like, how? This Nigerian killed one of us. We're going to go to that Nigerian and his people. Not all Nigerians in the whole of Hillbrow. We're going to go to that gang or that syndicate or there where they sell those drugs, and we're going to go and avenge this person that they killed. Now it's a fight between Nigerians and Zulu people, and I'm assuming they're Zulu because they are taxi drivers. Now there's a fight between those two people. When you look at that fight like this, you're like, xenophobia once again. Then the country went wild. Then later, the messages came out like, guys, this was not xenophobic attacks. Yes, we have an issue with xenophobia.
This was the Avengers.
So now when Trump says, guys, if you want to immigrate to America, let's do it legally. Let's be stronger against illegal immigration. And some people, now your policy is like, no, let them in. Most of them are kind-hearted people. Yes, let's have different opinions on that. But don't say that I'm hateful because I see the danger in undocumented.
You see the danger, 100%.
And then the Muslim thing. This man also, the problem with the way he speaks, man, and it's maybe wrong, or we shouldn't expect people to like, no, don't listen to this piece, listen to this piece.
Yeah.
We shouldn't tell people to do that. He should be a better speaker.
Yeah.
Then when he talks about radical Muslim terrorists, and that Muslim ban was a flop and was a bad decision on his part, because it was just to appease the people that put him in power.
Yeah.
But if he now talks about radical Islamic terrorism,
Yeah.
they don't mean took out ISIS, dog.
What
ISIS
do you
is,
mean it took out ISIS? ISIS still exists in the world.
but
They're
they
just on hold because of COVID. Homie, who's flying?
no.
Who's flying?
Okay,
I'm gonna bomb. I'm gonna bomb.
maybe I read
people.
wrong information, but I haven't heard of ISIS attacks.
Because they're on lock with the planes.
No, that means- you know what's
Nobody's
happening to
flying.
them.
where are they gonna bomb?
There's still shit happening in Syria and whatever. There's still shit going down there.
Yeah.
They stopped for like a month. Then they're like, nah, we're not gonna work. Is Mecca open again?
Mecca is open, so I haven't checked the most
We'll
recent.
go into that now. So
Yeah.
now, this man is drastically shrinked ISIS operations.
No,
And it's
COVID
even-
did that.
You see
COVID
what happens?
did that.
Donald Trump does one thing and then they're like, no, that's from Obama. Obama made
What?
jobs go up for
you
3
are
years
telling
after.
me, hold on. You are trying to insinuate that his Muslim ban or whatever policies
no,
he-
no.
not his Muslim ban, but his policies. You're saying that his policies or
His
whatever
actions in
some
in
of
that
his
areas.
actions. Homie, Barack Obama killed Osama bin Laden. What are you saying? Now you're saying
Osama bin Laden was the ISIS.
No, he wasn't. He was Al Qaeda.
Cool.
But that's a
Cool.
that's a different. That's
Who was-
a different
who was that
argument.
boss of
What
ISIS?
I'm saying,
Who
what
was
I'm
the boss
saying
of ISIS
There
that
is
over-
no one boss. That's why.
But
they
who
can't
was the guy?
catch
But
them.
who was the guy? Who was the guy? Which guy am I talking about?
What?
Which guy am I talking about? That Donald Trump killed early this year or late last year. And people are like, oh shit, what, Biden and them were like, why would you kill that guy? You're going to cause a bigger war. Like, my man, I'm killing a
that
leader.
wasn't even ISIS. That was like a leader of the Hezbollah in Iran. You're getting your people mixed up.
No, there's a leader of ISIS. Let
He's
me
a
Google
general.
it for you. Let me
Google.
it for
You take your time and
We need
Google
a,
it while I'm
we
talking.
need, yeah, we need a Jamie to Google shit for us.
A fact checker, because let me tell you something. His policies, particularly on Muslims, that you must understand that your actions as a politician have a ripple effect. When 60 years ago, 80 years ago, when in our country, when Eugene Blanche, or not Eugene Blanche, where the Afrikaner government came up with those policies, their idea initially was not to be racist. I mean, sorry, not to create an apartheid. But once you start telling people we are the superior nation, we are more superior than another group.
I would disagree with your wording a little bit.
Let me finish. It builds a sentiment amongst your followers to say, let's keep going, let's push, let's get more and more and more. And so what that did was that pushed the Afrikaner government. If you read, I can give you a lot of great books about it. There were a lot of within the Afrikaner community, there was a lot of opposition to apartheid. But at the same time, politics always will win. When you start an idea, that idea propagates and goes outwards and outwards. So now, in the beginning, people say we are a little bit better than blacks. Okay, fine. Then they say, no, we deserve more than them. We need to have their land. We need to have their jobs. We need to have this and that. Then the government says, okay, we need to listen to our voters so that they keep voting for us. And now we're going to do that. Similarly, in America, if you say these types of things, if you propagate these types of messages, forget the immigrant issue. The immigrant is a very complex one. But the thing about the Muslim ban is you're telling them these Muslims are coming into our country and they are causing...
I agree that Muslim ban was a flop.
They are causing problems.
I agree. There's nothing I can argue about the Muslim ban.
You talk about ISIS and you talk about these terrorist organizations.
I'm not a Trump supporter, guys.
Why do you think all these terrorist organizations were formed? Why do you think these radical Islamic terrorist organizations... You think that there were genuinely groups 30, 40
when did
years
ISIS
ago?
start?
ISIS is fairly new. I would say about 10 years ago.
It started
still
because
young.
of actions of Obama.
Not just Obama. America foreign policy.
America imposed themselves, ne?
Yeah.
America
In the
imposes
Middle East?
themselves on the world, ne?
Yeah.
And they are the watchdogs of all these things.
Precisely.
Here's this thing. It says Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
Yeah.
And he was in the Iranian government, but he was also found to be a sponsor or a participant in the leadership of ISIS.
Yeah.
They killed him, and it was a problem because that man was actually an Iranian government official, but he was known to be affiliated with ISIS. Fine. You see, then that was a diplomatic nightmare for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was a government official. They killed somebody in their government.
And that person was known to be affiliated with terrorist activity.
Okay.
Then they killed him, and people were like, "Yo, you don't kill those guys. You leave them because you're gonna cause like a diplomatic nightmare." Trump is like, "Hey, my man, we no tolerance. We kill all of, all of." Then now you see, ne, my thing is, ne, Trump is cock, ne, but when he does something okay, don't make it worse than what it is.
Yeah.
Because you are misrepresenting. Now you are forming
Yeah.
all of news media.
We all want the facts. We
Here's
want the
something.
truth.
Here's something that you misspoke about apartheid, and maybe I can be corrected also because I wasn't there. Black people, people of color, and to different degrees, I agree, were oppressed and put down before apartheid. Apartheid is the introduction of 2 new laws.
Yeah.
Apartheid. The part 2 apartheid laws are a Group Areas Act and you're not allowed to sleep with each other. Those are the 2 laws that characterize apartheid. It's like 1952,
Look, there's more than
1948,
2, but
somewhere there.
Yeah.
No, it's literally 2 laws that was the introduction of those 2 laws is the beginning of apartheid. Before then, there was still stuff that black people weren't allowed to do. The law that changed was you're not allowed to live here anymore. We'll put a space for you there. That's what apartheid was. And what we must also understand, people were oppressed before then. Apartheid was just like taking it too far. Then they're like, you see, we were fine with all that bullshit. Now you took it too far.
Now you took it too far.
Now
you're telling us who we can sleep with.
Even like my view on like Mandela and them becoming like struggle icons and joining the struggle. Mandela was never like a political person. This man went to school through the missionaries that were like in the homelands and all those things. He was well educated. He went to university, became a lawyer. Then what happens is, like with many of us, we only become struggle heroes or see a problem with the system when it affects us.
Of course.
That man reached the ceiling of what he could become as a black person. That man, where Lutuli House is now, that was him and our Tambo's law offices. Our Tambo, ne? The 2 of them were lawyers. That's where their law firm was, in town.
Yeah.
They had a building, they had a business. This was pre-apartheid, when black people were still allowed to own property or businesses.
Cool.
Then, this man hits the ceiling of what a black man can achieve in South Africa. That's when you're like, wow, my fellow black people, you'll see what's happening here. We are being oppressed. For a lot of people, I'm not saying it's okay to be oppressed, but I'm saying like, when you're living in a, when I say rural, I don't mean poor, because people are very self-sufficient in the rural areas and in the homeland. Those people never really felt, because they had no ambition in a Western world.
Exactly. But
And-
when you so
No, and it's wrong. It's wrong. Oh, your thing is off, but you can still see us.
Yeah.
But it's like there's still oppression, and there's sometimes when you can't liken apartheid to some of the stuff happening in America. Like, look now. This is the stats, but people are claiming Trump shouldn't take credit for it. But the stats are, just before COVID, the black unemployment rate was the lowest it's ever been in history. The unemployment rate was the lowest it's ever been in history. Factories and companies are coming back to America, which is what he promised. He's going to bring jobs back, which does include relaxing some laws like on environmental stuff and pollution and whatever. Because those are the things that making the world more green is the thing that will make big amounts of people lose jobs. But yeah, my whole argument with Trump is, and people mustn't think I'm defending him and whatever. Don't lie and misrepresent him, because you don't need to do that to prove that he's a bad president. Then when you do that, now the fight is the media. Hey guys, you guys can't participate in this thing like that. Report what you see. Don't be politicians yourselves. And that's the issue. And maybe it's like from a comic point of view, oh, your lights are on. Hey. Anyway.
Finally.
But yeah, like that's my whole issue with like what's been happening in America is like, you guys don't have to lie and misrepresent the man. Then when Joe Biden does fucked
But
up
that's
shit,
politics, man.
but
Why are you
no,
so upset
I'm
about
saying-
politics?
I'm
it's
saying
like you just woke
the
up.
media. I'm saying like the
Where have
media,
you been
like
sleeping the
CNN
last-
and all those things.
Whatever, man.
Fine,
Look
good.
at-
I don't
look
have
at-
to be fine with it.
Look at the way in South Africa.
Even
okay,
Fox,
let's
what
forget
they do is
American
not fine.
politics. I'm bored of this now.
Okay.
American politics is like it's,
Congrats to Joe Biden.
The reason why I didn't vote is also because I just
You don't
like
care.
not that I don't care actually. It's that I
fine
just
not to
don't
care.
believe in their bullshit about democracy. You know, when I
Yeah,
was
that's
watching
state
this-
electoral college. That's not democracy, bro.
1776, right? They claim that in 1776 they are officially the first country in the world
To
to
have
have
democracy.
a democratic election. But at the time, the only people that were allowed to vote were white men. What type of a democracy do you think you had?
Crazy.
You only really had a democracy about 50, 60 years ago when everyone in the country could vote.
Do you know what's funny?
And even then, there was so much voter suppression that who the hell...
Or they made you do a questionnaire. Or they made you do a general knowledge, bruh. Or they gave you like an IQ test.
Exactly. A literacy test. If you couldn't pass a literacy test, you couldn't vote. Depending on
You know,
how
black
smart
men
or
could
how
vote
dumb.
before white women.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. They did. Yeah, they did do that. That was
That's
wild.
when white women are like,
Come on, we're sitting at the same dinner table, and then
you vote for the both of us, baby.
and then Tabo walks in to serve us. He gets a vote, but I don't.
Take
It's crazy.
Take us seriously.
The electoral
It's the
college-
beginning of the feminist movement.
Can you imagine in South Africa if we
I'm
voted
playing
based
feminist
on
movement
how
started in
big,
England. Huh?
Can you imagine in South Africa if we voted based on how big our provinces are? What's the biggest province in South Africa?
It's done by population, not area.
Yeah, true.
Biggest province is Northwest, but they also have the smallest population.
Yeah.
Smallest province is Gauteng with the biggest population.
So imagine our votes here count more than the votes in the rest of the country.
Do you know what happens?
Just based purely on the fact that we have the highest population here.
What ends up happening is that an individual in a province like Northwest has more of a say than you in Gauteng. The reason why is I watched the video of the electoral college. Here's how it works. So they have senators and they have House of Representatives.
House of
no?
Representatives, yeah.
So now, depending on the population, I think maybe on the latest census, I don't know when they redo the number, but depending on the election,
Keep talking, I want to plug my charger in. Yeah?
okay, depending on the election, depending on the population, the state gets given a certain amount of representatives. Ne? Let's say Gauteng has 1,000 people, and what's the name has 100 people. Northwest is 100 people. Then what happens? Can you hear me, bro? Because I feel like a clown. Gauteng has 1,000 people. Northwest is 100 people. So for every 100 people, you get a representative. Ne? So what will happen is Northwest gets 1 representative. Gauteng gets 10 representatives for the 10 people. Then on top of that, each state or each province gets 2 senators. So now, Northwest has 3, ne? And Northwest has 3 representatives. Gauteng would have 12. Now, if you divide 3 by 100, and then you divide 13 by 1,000, you'll find that the vote of an individual in Northwest has more weight than a vote of someone in a more populated province or state.
Yeah, that's the electoral college, man.
Anyway.
And it's so ridiculous that it still exists today. Where you know the reason why the electoral college was started, because back then
Because there were like 13 colonies and then they became a United States of America.
Yeah,
but then they needed...
Because back then they didn't have
slavery and anti-slavery. Some of them wanted the slaves. Some of them wanted
True.
black people to vote, or only free people to vote. Some
Yeah.
wanted slaves to vote as well. And then they came up with these numbers to make everyone happy.
Yeah, the thing about America is their constitution has how many? 13 amendments. How many amendments? Something like that.
Maybe 14.
Yeah, there are 14 amendments, and they are exactly that. They are amendments. They're meant to be changed, but they never ever do. None of those amendments have been changed since the beginning of time. Some slight variations have happened.
Of
But
interpretation, yeah.
Yeah, like look at, gun control, the Second Amendment. That the reason why guns were said to be freely available to all the citizens, because if a tyrannical government comes into power,
You
then
must be
will
able to
raise
make
arms.
a militia.
How does Bob from fucking Kansas in America think that his AK-47 is going to protect him against his government who has drones and fighter jets. Like it makes no sense. But that's
It
the
is
law.
simple.
That's the thing that they will have to uphold in order to
I think it
prevent-
is a backwards country. We can say that.
Oh yeah.
Or
so
anti-progressive. And you know what's funny? Nah? Even like Americans that I've met that have come here,
Yeah.
and they speak, and they might be Democrat or they might be black or
Yeah.
people of color, and they speak, and I'm like, my man, you're just like those people, bruh. You talking to me like how they speak to you.
Yeah.
Americans don't even realize, they don't even see how simple they are, bruh. They literally think it's the best country in the world.
Oh no, it's not. Not by a long shot.
Yo, bruh, like
Not by like their healthcare, not by
but they have that within them. That pride has been fed into each and every single person. And the reason why electoral college won't go away is because the Democrats only wanted to go away now because they've been getting the popular vote for the past couple of decades.
But
When
before
the-
that, they
the
were
Rep-
using it.
When the Republicans were getting the popular vote, they also wanted to get rid of
Yeah.
the electoral college. So whoever's getting the popular vote, they fight for it, and then the next time when it happens, then like, no, we don't.
So now the Democrats, who knows what they're gonna fight? If they're gonna fight for it, they're gonna fight against it.
These people aren't gonna change anything.
They're not gonna change
Nothing. Donald Trump got
nothing.
shit done.
Like look, Obama in his administration didn't do much.
Obama drowned
Said
more
nice
people.
things.
Obama bombed more people than any other president.
Of course, and we know it, and he'll still.
Trump
walk
is
it-
the only one
him
that
and
has.
his wife walk
Trump is the
around
only one that
as
actually
if
got
they're
their
the
troops
most-
back home.
Yeah. So the Obama administration didn't do anything morally upstanding. Yes, he might have said the right things,
Yeah.
but that's about it. And that's why I think after Obama, a lot of people felt, well, we don't care about a person who says the
Like,
right
homie, you have
things.
dumb speeches, and then
And then you're gonna kill people in the Middle East. Like now, even when Joe Biden won, it doesn't feel as good as it's supposed to feel.
look
You
how
know? Like it
look how
just
much work
doesn't
went into making.
feel as good as it's supposed to feel. It doesn't at
Yeah.
all. It's supposed to feel like if you've kicked out somebody who is morally incorrect and not upstanding, and right wing politics is now gone. You know, the idea that the one group of people is better than the other, and
People are celebrating for Kamala Harris more than anything. I don't think Joe Biden is gonna make it to the end of his term. Whether it's and I don't
whether
mean
he's gonna live.
no, I don't mean death. I mean he might retire for health reason, and then Kamala will become president. And I think that is the plan of the Democrats. If let's say I was American and Kamala Harris was the one to be voted for,
Yeah.
I'm more likely to do that. But if you
Yeah.
give me Joe Biden and Trump, I'm gonna say Trump,
Even,
guys.
but I like
Trump still has energy, though.
Kamala Harris is still last year at the APAC conference, which is the conference about supporting Israel. She went out there and sucked the balls of every Israeli. In
Maybe she's a
history.
woman. Maybe don't put it
She-
like that.
Okay, maybe I should.
Let's respect women as well, please.
I would have said it if she was a man too. Like why?
Oh.
Well, a man can't suck balls. Is that what you say? Now you're homophobic. It's a slippery slope to getting cancelled. Now you're
anything you say,
homophobic. Now a man can't suck balls.
What I mean, yes, now we must retract in disclaimers. Fuck you guys.
So anyway, she committed to, if becoming into the administration, she said that she's gonna commit $35 billion to their protection systems. They've got something called like an Eagle Dome, which is literally like a laser dome. If any missile or anything crosses there, they fire a rocket back at it and then hit Gaza with another rocket. So whether there's people there, whether
And
there's
that's
civilians,
in support
whether
of the
there's-
Jewish people or in support of everyone in that area.
So obviously, protection of the Israeli state, I understand majority of them are Jewish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Israel is a majority Jewish state. It's pro-Jew, for Jewish, but the actual state and the atrocities that they commit to Palestinian people, they make it seem as if these people are the violent ones. It's like, when you go to a protest and people are protesting and they get one person throws a stone, then everybody goes and says, look at that one person that's throwing the stone.
Look at
not
them.
all the
Look
shit
at
that
them.
not all the shit that they've been dealing with for the last couple of years not all the, when it came to Black Lives Matter, yes, majority of it was peaceful, and then obviously some people get violent, things happen. But what do people focus on? Those one outbursts of violence, not the actual root cause of the problem.
The
And
movement itself.
so the movement itself breaks down, and now people think that, the Palestinians are to blame. They're the ones firing rockets into Gaza, and this and this and this. Yeah, bro, but look at what you've done to them. You've split their land literally in half and taken the center, split families that live 60 kilometers apart that can never see each other ever again. You literally cordoned off one portion of land, a 60 square kilometer piece of land, which you keep as a sort of open air prison, and bomb people indiscriminately, destroy their infrastructure. They have to rebuild every couple of years. You give them a banana republic government.
I wish I knew more of this thing to be able to comment on it, man.
But let's talk South Africa before let's close on South Africa, because I think the point that you made about xenophobia is very relevant to like the conversation we were talking about in America and now for us. In South Africa, I've found that in my time working for the government and in government hospital, we see it firsthand. If the government puts a ban on alcohol, we the ones who see it first. If the government starts opening the borders, we see it first. It's literally, we are at the front line of every issue that comes across in South Africa.
I'll tell you something.
Hospitals.
I know someone from Lesotho.
Yeah.
Who's been to Lesotho and back 4 times during the height of lockdown.
Yeah.
She's been in and out. With closed borders, bruh. I won't say who it is, obviously. I'll protect her identity.
Protect that.
Went to Lesotho 4 times, dog.
In and out. And
In and
Lesotho closed? Lesotho was closed.
Lesotho's border was also closed. I think it might be open now that they're opening international borders.
Yeah.
But at the time when it was locked,
It was locked.
level 5, level 4, bruh.
Yo.
Right. Then I'm like, this person was telling me. Then like the next day when I saw her, or the next week when I saw her, it's like, hey man, you said you're going to Lesotho. And the borders closed. Then she's like, Honomutu more now, Utlong Tusa, what. Then I said, oh.
Okay.
And it's like 200, 300, bro.
That is crazy. 200, 300 to fuck a whole country up. Imagine she was that one super spreader.
Patient zero, bro.
That patient zero, like that woman in South Korea who got and then decided, I'm good.
Let me go to church.
Let me go for brunch with some friends, spread it to almost a third of the country. That's wild. So, like, the thing about xenophobia in this country, if you ever speak to any nurse, they are nurses and anybody at the admin desk. I'll give you a practical example. If you are a foreign patient and you require care, unlike any other South African citizen, healthcare for you is not free in our country, particularly at my hospital. For an emergency outpatient visit, you technically have got to pay 5,000 Rand. A lot of the clerks at the admin office will say, okay, it's fine, you pay 652. I don't know where they came up with that number, but you've got to pay that. A lot of the time, if you don't have that money, toodaloo.
652 Rand.
652
at most government hospitals, probably.
At most, but like Helen Joseph don't enforce it strictly. There are other places that don't enforce it strictly. But at our hospital, if you don't have 652 bucks, they won't open a file for you. Us as doctors have got to go to the clerk and motivate and say, look, this person's going to die. They really need to be seen.
Oh, okay.
Can you make a plan? They'll sign to say.
But if someone's like
come back and
car accident wise, like my arm is off, I'm coming there, life saving, they're not still gonna worry about all those things.
So yeah,
right now,
if like
they'll
right
hit you with
now,
it afterwards.
Yeah, they might hit you with it afterwards or whatever. But for like non-dying emergencies, like dire emergencies, you'll get stopped. But you must hear what the sisters say about xenophobia, what they say about the foreigners. They like, we don't care about these people. They come here to our country to have babies. A lot of women come from other Southern African countries, Malawi even, to come to our country because their countries don't have good, proper infrastructure or healthcare.
And
Zimbabwe,
maybe they want their children to be South African.
The Zimbabwe, who the EFF and the liberal left in our country think is such an amazing country, is literally hell. Their hospitals are overrun. They don't have like certain departments don't run. They don't have at all. Like pediatric surgery, they don't have pediatric surgeons in the country.
But it's a
Your
luxury.
child is
That's pediatric surgery is a luxury, man. Go by the
Not-
same guy.
no.
Go by you a child. Just go to the man that treats old
bruh,
people.
No, it's not the same thing. A normal
Cool, it's smaller. You
normal
need smaller
gen-
fingers.
That's what you think, but I'm telling you as a doctor that that's not how
Isn't
it
it
works.
pediatric surgery is a luxury?
not.
Go where the adults go, my man.
Okay, if your infant, 3-month-old baby needs a
Yeah,
surgery.
but don't give me real examples. Let's move on.
You see, realistically, what I'm telling you is those types of highly specialized surgeries. Yes, a general surgeon could try, but it's not the same.
Like
It's
those tiny heart
it's like,
surgeries.
yeah, it's like telling a general surgeon go operate on a horse, man. Go fix a horse, bruh. They don't have the expertise. They don't.
The only
know.
problem with that is that you're likening kids to horses. But I mean, I would trust the general surgeon to operate on a horse.
No, bruh.
That's
it
a
just doesn't
vertebrate.
work.
It basically has the same structure.
So yeah, but like the thing I'm saying is
Vertebrate's a
in our
vertebrate,
country, if we had a president like Trump, oh, they would love him. I'm telling you, they would love him if they said we're locking our borders.
Most South Africans are conservative.
Yeah, we want them lock those borders. But it's so weird though because our ANC government is very progressive. In 1996 we had the Termination of Pregnancy Act. That's a very very progressive thing to have. It's not something that you just
Maybe not progressive, but definitely liberal.
very liberal.
Yeah.
Very, very liberal. That idea, and it's still, the law is still stuck till today. It's never been argued in the constitution. Nothing. You can have as many abortions as you want, willy-nilly. You can abort today, tomorrow, next week, next month. Doesn't matter.
And
Your
it's free.
womb, your womb is your choice. So
And that's fine. I'm fine with that.
So but that's
But
what
people don't
baffles me in
realize-
South Africa. Like we're conservative, but we're also liberal.
Do you know what I realize now? Like, let's say the pro-life, pro-choice argument. Everyone is pro-choice. Everyone. We all just have different exit points of when it's too late.
No, I think that some people are hell no. You're not allowed to do it at all. There are people that believe that.
No, let's say some people's line is, and I'm being poetic with my description.
Yes.
Some people's line is use a condom. That's a line. It's preventing having a baby, but still having sex.
Okay.
Then we know that most people who go for abortions are people.
No, but
wait, you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hear what I'm saying? Some people are saying, like some people will say, okay, take the pill. Nah?
No, you must. I'm telling
hear what
you,
I'm
your
sa-
point
I'm-
is invalid.
I'm showing you
because
the
choice. The choice.
I'm not even done. I'm giving you the spectrum.
But okay, before you carry on explaining, I'm telling you why you're wrong. Because choice, pro-choice means, are you allowed to have the choice to abort or not? Not are you allowed to have a child or conceive or not? It's can you get pregnant
it's a spectrum,
and
man.
then abort it?
Let me
That's
give you the
choice.
spectrum. Let me give you the spectrum.
Yes.
Then the next one on the spectrum is the pill. Yes, conception hasn't happened yet. Né? The pill. Let me finish.
Yeah.
Let me finish. The next one after that is people say it's cool to have an abortion up to 12 weeks or I don't know. How
Yes,
it
yes. There's a different time.
Then you get people who say like you can abort up to 8 months. Then you get more and more people are like 8 months, guys. 3 weeks, 12 weeks. I don't know what the exact numbers
Again,
are.
you're wrong. But
No
carry
man
on.
saying there's a spectrum. There's some people who are like 12 weeks abort. We understand. You just found out you are pregnant. Then what does the law say? Up until when can I?
So the law says that up until 16 weeks, you can abort safely with the help of a healthcare practitioner.
Okay, 16 weeks. I'm giving you a number. Then I'm saying, but the point of that is, some people will say you can abort up to 8 months. Then they're like, okay, cool, maybe. Some people can say you can abort up to 9 months. That's where you get people falling off. There are people and extreme liberals
Yes,
who
extreme
say,
liberals who say that, but they don't have any content.
But no one has
and
to
you're
have,
not allowed to
and
do
no one
that.
has, no one wants to.
Medically, you can't do that. Medically, it's
no,
not.
in
you're
South
not allowed.
Africa, yeah. In South Africa, we've decided on what, 26 weeks.
So
And then after
you
26
can do
weeks, you
30
need a
weeks.
reason.
So yeah, so you can do between 28 and 30 weeks if it's
Is
a
that
very
no question
severe-
asked? No, up until what time is it no questions asked?
So no questions asked is 16 weeks.
16 weeks. And then up to
From
30
16
weeks.
to 20, there's now from between 16 to 20, now you have to have there has to be a few more reasons. Now you have to have like maybe either you were raped. So sorry, that's 16 to 24 weeks. If you were raped, if the child has a deformity, those types of things, then fine.
And also maybe I'm poor, I can't support the child. Is that a reason?
So 16 to 20, they can, if you can't afford.
Then after 20,
After 20, now you
must
can't
be-
do it just because you're poor. You can't do it because you know,
because you've had enough time to make the
yeah,
decision.
you've had enough time to make the decision. Now that's
Or
negligent on your
we
part.
believe you've had enough
Yeah.
time.
So now
But it is
becomes
still us telling you
negligent.
what you can do with your body and when you want to do with it.
Yes. So it is. There is
my
some
body, my
aspect
choice.
of-
My body, my choice. People are sometimes fine with going up to 9 months, and like, it's a difficult conversation to have because it's like, if you say your stance, then for any reason someone can be like, you see, you're telling women what to do with your body.
No,
Me, you can do what you want.
I can say, I can give my opinion as a healthcare practitioner and then as a human being separate.
There gets
I
to a
can
point where
say
it's not safe.
it's just not safe. Like after a point, it's not safe. Any abortion, and I'm telling you this, any abortion can result in you losing your uterus, losing your womb. At any point.
Sometimes even your life.
It's dangerous. It is dangerous. We're putting something in there to remove a pregnancy, whether it's a pill, whether it's actual vacuum.
messes
There's
up something, yeah.
It does mess up the inside lining, and there are.
And no
women
one is
that
saying it's an
experience-
easy decision for any woman to make.
Of course.
I'm not saying that.
Of course. So in this situation, a lot of people think, okay, we can use this as a form of contraception, and in fact, government is trying their hardest to push people away from using abortion as a form of contraception.
Now, that goes into another thing. I think we might be on the same page. I think just most people have a different opinion on when is it okay, after how many weeks is it okay, and
Yeah.
because some people are even arguing 9 months, and that's, for me, that's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, you see government pushing contraceptives,
Yeah.
both for HIV and just to avoid the amount of children, that
Unwanted
poor people have
pregnancies, yeah.
unwanted pregnancies and child hunger also. So government puts a lot of money in free condoms and free contraceptives. What do you think about the argument where they say, why are condoms free, but pads aren't?
So, look,
I think that's a ridiculous argument, and you should never say that if you want pads to be free. That's a dumb
so
argument.
I'll give you
But
my
tell
opinion
me
on
what-
condoms. Condoms being free is the government realized we think that the government is doing us a favor, or it's for moral.
They're saving
reason.
millions of
They're saving millions and millions because
on
they realize
HIV and unwanted
treatment,
pregnancy.
If I can give a guy a condom and prevent him from catching HIV,
or even prevent it for a few months.
I prevent not only him catching HIV, but being on lifelong treatment and all the complications that could come from that will end up
state
in
will pay
hospital
for.
that I, as the government, have to pay for. So for me, I need to give this.
So
Now,
spending a lot of money on contraceptives
yeah.
is saving money.
Yes, it's saving money for the government. Now on the aspect of pads, it's a different argument, but I
But
do feel
no one
I
should
do
ever
feel from-
utter the words. I think
I don't
no
think
one
that you
should
can
ever
use-
utter the words, why are condoms free but pads aren't free?
Yeah,
you are
stupid.
stupid for saying that.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb.
I'm not
Because-
saying pads. I'm saying yes, pads must be free. Let them
But
be
don't,
free.
but don't
don't
say,
don't
condoms
ever
are-
say that. You are
because-
stupid.
Because a girl having a period and not being able to go to school, yes, that's a terrible thing to have in our country. But for the government, if you look at it from the government's
And government
perspective-
meaning all of us.
So look, maybe hear me out. This is just a new thought, right? Maybe the people that do say that, they haven't thought about it this deeply. But perhaps if a child can't go to school because she can't afford pads and she doesn't have any pads, her not going to school means she's out in the streets.
She's more likely
get
to not
pregnant.
become successful in
She's
life.
more likely to become pregnant. So then there is an argument for saying
Yeah.
condoms are free, and there are reasons, financial reasons, that we can motivate why they should be free. There are also should be reasons for why pads should be, because if
As
a
a
child,
doctor, you shouldn't
if a
have
child,
You can't really fall pregnant on your period, but continue.
no, but come on, man. If they are menstruating, that means they have the opportunity to fall pregnant if they're sitting at
But
home.
I'm only out of school when I'm on my period. Now I'm smashing while I'm on my period. I can't be pregnant.
Come on.
So
man.
that's
Now
a bit
you're arguing-
more of a nuanced thing. But continue. I just want to keep you
No,
honest.
look, if you're missing school for 1 week a month, if you are missing school, you're probably not going to do as well as somebody that
And then you're
gets
gonna
to
drop
school.
out. Yeah, no,
And you
I
could
agree
drop
with
out, and then if you drop out, you're going
Let
to
us let us definitely make pets free. I'm definitely for making pets free. I'm just irritated at some people. Because me, man, I like to argue, and like in inverted commas if you are just listening. But it's like, sometimes you're like, guys, we all agree, but your argument is dumb.
Yeah.
Don't use that argument, because if I can beat you on that argument, that means your thing is wrong.
Yeah.
Then you must accept your thing is wrong. Don't use arguments that's going to make you wrong.
And I think that for a lot of, I think the biggest problem that we currently have in the world, and why right-wing views are winning and winning by a landslide,
That makes sense.
is because they argue less about emotions and more about facts and getting things
Yeah,
done.
they generally
And
make
so-
more sense.
And so the
Liberal
problem is
views
that
and
liberal
stuff are more
views,
arbitrary and
they're not concrete.
experimental and ambitious and did I say experimental already? Yeah, they're just out there. They're psychedelic. They're free forming. Let's just see where this goes, guys. Like, guys, we don't have time to figure shit out.
Yeah. So anyway, in closing, I think
Yeah, that's an hour and a half, I think.
we had a long, extensive chat about politics, about the world, and thank you for joining me, Emilio, on this lovely Sunday. I mean, you could have been anywhere, church. Well, you did go to church, but
Yeah, I was supposed to go back, but
yeah. So Emilio will probably join me again on the podcast, and we plan to have a lot more guests. So stay tuned, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. That's been me, Sohail Essa, for the Daily Dose.
check out my podcast when you have a chance. It's coming back soon, but there is episodes in the archive.
Okay.
On the contrary.
Yeah. That's been Emilio, Tobias, and me, Sohail Essa. Thank you guys for listening. Peace.